Alright guys, today I'm gonna do the 2019 SAT writing section. Okay, let's just jump to the first question. Packing peanuts are a standard part of shipments, as their cushiony material ensures that items, such as glassware, are not damaged in transit. So you need these two separators, because this part is not needed, since you can just say material ensures that items are not damaged in transit. So you don't need such as glassware, which means I think this is a okay. Let's say I started at 546. Wait. Okay, 546 is when I started. Um okay, thus more curbside. Okay, we have to read the sentence prior. Paul and his team were hesitant to discard the packing peanuts and contribute to the history of waste. Which means the next sentence should be like what they did because of that problem. So as a result, the abundance of packing peanut. Okay, this does not have to do with their team, with Paul and this team. Let's look at B. Hence, many environmental scientists. Okay, that still doesn't have to do with what Paul and his team did. Thus, more curbside that. Okay, so automatically it's not A, B, or C, which means it's D. And let's read D. Instead, they resolved to use their chemical expertise to devise a solution. Yup, it's talking about Paul and his team, so this should just be D. And I apologize if this is gonna be a long video because I'm not gonna make multiple parts. I'm just gonna do all of this in one sitting. Okay. By pulling this, okay, just skip everything. By heating the peanuts and a catalyst to 1100 degrees for several hours in the presence of argon, an inert gas commonly found in Earth's atmosphere, the carbon was isolated. Okay, I think this is a misplaced modifier question. By heating the peanuts. So who did the heating? Probably Paul and his team. So it's B. Okay. Further heating resulted in extremely thin microsheets of carbon that could be made into battery anodes. Okay, you don't need anything here. You don't need a comma or any dash or semicolon. So it's just C. The vaporization process that separated the carbon from the hydrogen and oxygen left. Okay, so we need something that sets up this paragraph. Okay, so let's just read this paragraph. The vaporization process that separated the carbon from the hydrogen and oxygen left the surfaces of the carbon microsheets uneven and porous. According to Paul, openings in the surface made the anode's absorption of ions more efficient. On the other hand, the batteries charged faster. In addition, the anodes retained about 13% more of them than do conventional anodes, which meant that the batteries could provide more electricity before needing to be recharged than conventional batteries can. So, hmm, so this paragraph is talking about anodes and stuff. I did not retain anything that I just said. I think it's because I was like reading it out loud. But I could eliminate A and B because they don't have the word anode in them. Wait, let me just read it again. Okay. C is just a fact. Wait, actually it might be A. Wait, no, not A. It might be B since this paragraph is just like what they found or like the results. So what did they do? Um, so they made battery anodes. Okay. Oh, yeah. So it's just talking about how good the anodes were. So never mind, it's not B. It's D, yeah. It's talking about how good they were. Okay, let's look at 6. According to Paul, openings in the surface made the anode's absorption of ions more efficient. On the other hand, um, it should not be on the other hand. It should be like something like continuing. So it should be like likewise. As a result, yeah, it might be. As a result, the battery is charged faster. Likewise also doesn't make sense since that's like that's a comparative transition. By the same token, like, no. As a result, yeah, it's just as a result. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. In addition, the anodes retained about 13% more. Mm, more of them. What is them? Of ions. Yeah, you gotta be specific, so you always want to be precise about what you're talking about. So let's just see, just to clarify that you're talking about ions. Then the conventional anodes, which meant this meant you can't just this means like you can't just put a comma in between that, and this meant you can't just say that either. Meaning you, I mean you could do semicolon this means, but meaning that you need a comma for that. So I think it's just a. A is just smooth as well. It just sounds good. The process, as for recycling, that does not sound right. This process for recycling, that just, it sounds right. That Paul and his team developed is not at all complicated. It requires less time and energy than the. Okay, so since this is like a scientific like article, like so, you know, it's supposed to be professional. It's definitely not the B. It's yeah, the humdrum does not make sense. That also is just derogatory language. So it's between B or C. B does not make sense in this context. C just it's C. Yeah, it's just C. This additional benefit attests to the future promise of the work being done in Paul's lab. In fact, the process that okay, we have to be careful with these types of questions. I got one of these wrong in the last video. In fact, the process that Paul and his team devised would take several days fewer than the process currently used to make anodes for lithium-ion batteries. Okay. Um. Okay, it might be A, but let's look at the other choices. Thus, lithium-ion batteries are more effective than the lithium. I feel like this is not. It's got to be a bit more specific. Furthermore, other researchers are experimenting with burning. Okay, this. It's not C. We don't care about what other researchers are doing. For now, Paul and his team hope that this process will be widely adopted and will turn a ubiquitous waste product into a useful household item. I think it's D. And I don't know if it's B because in SAT we tend to avoid like opinionated statements, and for the last sentence to be like something heavily opinionated, that we SAT definitely would not want that. So I would eliminate B and C immediately. A, I feel like that doesn't sum up like the results and stuff. So it's D. It's just yeah, I'm decently confident about D. Okay, let's look at this. A crowd was gathered, mesmerized by the spectacle. Lloyd watched nervously until the climber had watched. Hmm. It might, okay, it's obviously either A or B. And we use had if it's like two things in the past tense, two actions, you want to distinguish them. but like they're both past tense, but which past tense verb preceded the other one, and that's when you want to use had. And in this case, Lloyd watched nervously until the climber. Yeah, there is like a series of sequences, a series of events, which means pretty sure it's just B. Yeah, yeah, he was watching someone until they made it to safety, and this is still in past tense. So this is before that. So had watched. Yup. At this point, the writer is considering adding the following sentence. I cannot read this sentence.